guys, it's Lord Both here with another video, and Mr.Beast has finally responded to his response to the allegations that have all came out about him and his company. Now, as you of course probably remember, months ago there were certain allegations that were being made about Chris Ava Tyson. Those allegations came out and Chris Ava Tyson left the company. This was followed by Discord dumps and a bunch of rumors being spread around, leaks and he said, she said, all that stuff. And not one bit of it looked good for Mr.Beast at all, at any point during this entire discourse. Nor did his responses look or seem good in any way whatsoever. It all pointed to him, and especially when it came out, some of his conversations with people, especially potential minors and such, in his discords, and the whole thing with this guy he employed called Delaware, obviously not his given name, who also was tied to Jake the Viking, and etc., etc. But yeah, none of it has looked good for Mr.Beast. And finally, he's come out and he's made another statement on X about everything that's gone on. Now, here you can see in July 24th on his post on X, talks about hiring a third-party independent lawyer and investigative team to investigate the business. And now that has seemingly concluded. Mr.Beast states here, a 3-month investigation into allegations regarding my company has concluded. The law firm investigators reviewed millions of documents, messages, and conducted 39 interviews. Millions of documents and messages. That seems like a lot to get done in 3 months, especially a lot to get done thoroughly. While 39 interviews seems like a small number, that doesn't seem like a thorough amount of interviews at all about certain situations. I was asked to refrain from making public statements to enable a detailed and unbiased investigation. Below are the conclusions. Now, it's a very lengthy, wordy legal document, even in just 2 pages, but these bullet points are really the main important things. It says here, the investigation produced the following significant findings. 1. The allegations of sexual misconduct between company employees and minors are without basis. The allegations were soundly rejected, including by alleged victims, meaning that this law firm or investigators or whatever that Mr.Beast hired interviewed, I guess, these victims who then said, oh yeah, it didn't happen or it wasn't like that. Which I'm sure those interviews and the way they were conducted put no pressure on those victims at all. Alleged potential victims, shall we say, that are now denying that they were victims of apparently anything. Secondly, allegations of the company knowingly employing individuals with proclivities or histories towards illegal or questionable legal conduct are similarly without basis. Here too, the allegations were uniformly rejected. We never hired convicted or pled guilty criminals that we knew of, is essentially what this is saying. Which is strange, seeming that the legal documents over his financials stated that the contestants were being treated more like actual employees than they were contestants for his Amazon game show. And one of those contestants did plead guilty to pimping. So I don't really know exactly in what legal sense they're finding that to be uniformly rejected. Third point, several isolated instances of workplace harassment and misconduct were identified during the investigation. The company was informed of such conduct and took swift and appropriate action to address the incidents, including, where necessary, disciplining or letting go of implicated individuals. That's a way of them saying, hey, we looked into their harassment policy and how that was executed, and we think that they handled themselves accordingly. They punished and fired people for things like sexual harassment and things like that in a proper manner. They then give a whole list of bullet points here down at the bottom of ways that they're trying to get better, essentially. Sending a clear message regarding tone at the top, hiring a new chief executive officer and a new chief financial officer, implementing mandatory corporate training for all employees. So they're going to give their employees mandatory HR, hey, don't touch me there, this is my no-no square training. Developing new policies codified in an employee handbook. Something you would think needs to be in place from the beginning. I've worked in the restaurant industry for 12 years. I've never worked at a restaurant that didn't have some kind of employee handbook. You need one just to cover your legal basis. Establishing an anonymous reporting mechanism hotline for employees. Again, something that should have been established already. Swiftly terminating individuals who violated company policies, regardless of their position or level within the company, identifying additional employees for targeted training and executive coaching to address professionalism and compliance with companies. Again, this is something they should have already been doing. And isn't this what they said they were doing a good job on reason number 3 or findings number 3 of what they said up here? So I'm a bit confused on how this is something they need to improve, but also something they do really well. Even more interesting than what was actually said has been the response to it. 9/10, maybe even 9.5 of the replies to this reply to his Twitter posts are basically people saying, yeah, the lawyers you hired to investigate you found you not guilty of anything. What a shock. The people you paid to investigate you found that their employer didn't do anything wrong. I mean, look here, Dan Vass, the investigators he hired to investigate his own company determined he's innocent. We investigated ourselves and found ourselves innocent. So your internal investigation is saying nothing happens. Got it. No way, the guys you paid found you innocent. The guys we paid said we did nothing wrong. Our internal investigation finds we did nothing wrong. The company we hired to investigate us found nothing. Move along. I like this guy right here. He says basically what I was saying. 4.5 million documents were processed and reviewed. I don't even know how that's humanly possible. Exactly. How are you going to do that in 3 months and properly go over everything thoroughly? Even if you have a massive team of lawyers working on this thing, it's not possible. And this is not a thing you should be sifting through documents using Control F with. But yeah, what did Jimmy really think he was going to get by doing this? No one was ever going to believe some independent investigation of lawyers that he hired and that they would somehow miraculously not find him guilty of anything and all the allegation stuff would just go away. And no one would believe that anything was running afoul or anybody was paid off. But unless there's any kind of investigation that's done by, I don't know, a government agency, or at least somebody who's not paid by Mr.Beast, people just aren't going to believe anything that comes out of this guy. And they're just going to end up believing the worst about these allegations. In fact, this probably will make matters even worse, because now it's fuel on the fire of him trying to potentially mount a cover-up. At least that's how people see it. But those are just my thoughts on all this. If you have your own thoughts, go ahead and leave them in the comments. If you like this video, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, appreciate you watching all of it. We'll talk to you again later.